FCS CheckDown. Coach Ron Jackson, Nathan McCreary. Chat is popping off already, Coach. I see Stephen McKenzie. I see Chris New Age in the house already. And what a weekend. We had to take a little bit of a break this weekend, Coach. We're going to review the games. We'll go around the FCS, talk about some coaching news, and we're going to do a quarterfinal recap real quick. We have a very special guest joining us, scheduled to join us. It's Villanova's head coach, Mark Ferrante, Coach. Very excited to talk to the head coach of Villanova. He's representing the East Coast, and he's going to have to play a very tough game at home. So what's up, yo? CHCJ 8064. Good to have you guys aboard. And then we're going to do our preview of the semifinals here and get into it. So a full show, big-time show. Super excited about Coach Ferrante joining us. And I hope Brandon can jump on. Let me tell you, Brandon Joseph. Well, first of all, Coach, how the heck are you before I jump into all that mess?
I can't complain. Good Lord seemed fit to wake me up this morning. I kind of getting into the Christmas spirit. Everybody that knows me knows from about October on through November, I got birthdays, kids, anniversaries, all that stuff coming up. So I got a little bit of a break now until Christmas. So I went out to Publix and I got me some Purity boiled custard the other day, and I got me a little chocolate Crown Royal, and I'm gonna see what it does. I'm gonna see what. Yeah, I'm trying to see something.
I see. I see. All right. So we've got me and Sweet Elizabeth got the all the stuff for boiled custard. We may have to ask Coach Ferrante if he's ever heard of boiled custard. Where is he originally from?
Right now, he don't.
No, you don't think so?
I've heard his accent. He don't.
Well, he might, and we'll just have to see. He is from what area is he from? It doesn't say, but he went to St. Lawrence College, which I don't know where that is. So all that research.
He's got to be from Pennsylvania or New York. That's the feel that he gives me. I bet he's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, maybe up in this neck of the woods. All right, so listen, Brandon isn't here, but I want to tell you, Coach, what an experience he and I had yesterday. Brandon works he was full-time at 680 The Fan, which is the big, massive sports station here in Atlanta, and he was a do-all, be-all of everything that they do, on-air, off-air, production, everything. And he was always active in the high school sports realm. And, of course, it's the high school championships here. Matter of fact, I've got above me Thomas County Central in Gainesville, the Red Elephants, one of the great names of high school football. He gave me a call about a month ago and said, hey, would you like to call a high school championship, the 2A region for high school at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta where the Falcons play? The answer was yes, I would love to do that. And so yesterday, he and I went down and got a chance. I'm just going to show you a couple quick photos. This was our view from the Mercedes-Benz Dome. I keep saying Mercedes-Benz Dome because the Georgia Dome always throws me off. But this was our view from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the Georgia High School Association Championship 2A between not Thomas Central, they're playing now, against Carver Columbus and Hapeville. And we had such a good time, Coach. And here's your boys in the broadcast booth. Brandon, the two white guys behind us are actually the Carrolltons high school who played after us, their broadcast crew. So there's actually glass between us, so you can't really see it. But, Coach Jackson, I was so proud of Brandon, of how hard he worked. He produced, directed, managed the broadcasters. He did everything for these games to be broadcast radio version, right? They had a television version. We were the radio broadcast side. And yeah, high school Kobe. And but he just did so much. He's down there he's down there today. He's broadcasting. He's a sideline reporter. He's color analyst. He's a director, producer. He's everything. And I was telling you, I've known Brandon for 15 years. He and I have worked together for so long. And it was like, I'm going to show you this photo right here. This is a boy locked in. It was such a cool experience to look over and see Brandon, my brother, locked in and just we're calling football. And he did such a good job, a great job, that I just wanted to recognize. I know he's not here, but he deserves so much credit. We had such a good time. It was not a great football game, but Carver Columbus won the state championship, and we got a chance to call it together. And I sat there next to my brother, and I told you as we were doing a little pregame stuff, there's nothing like it. I mean, the pride that I felt was like, it's as your brother, as a family member, getting to watch them shine, and he shined, and it was such a cool experience.
You know, I hadn't known him nearly as long as you have, but he's just an impressive guy. Whether it's high school,
He really is.
whether it's FBS, whether it's FCS, whether it's this conference, whether it's that conference, whatever, he always, he always delivers. I don't know how else to say it. And listen, he's a smart guy. He called you. He didn't call me. That broadcast would have been real jacked up had he called me. He called you. He's smart.
Coach, you would have fit right into that crew. That was a motley crew that was up there. Just a quick side note: a young man that was an intern for Brandon called the game before us. His name is Wiley Ballard. He is a Braves. He works for Georgia Tech with me, and he is a Braves broadcaster. He does the Braves national broadcasts, and he was doing the game. So Brandon had that link. He was an intern with Brandon. And then we had a young man that was our sideline reporter named Adam Crooks, who was the friend of a son of one of the broadcasters we worked with 10 years ago, and he was a wee little lad, and now he is a graduate student at Syracuse broadcasting sports with us. I mean, it was really, really freaking cool. Yeah, a lot of stuff in the chat there. It was a super, super neat experience, and I just could not. I cannot thank Brandon more for that opportunity. And I texted him this morning. I said, man, I put you in a bad spot because I was a little iffy on the format, and he had to send us to a break a couple times, and that's not really his, it just put a little more on his plate. But he said, man, that was fun. That was fun. I appreciate it so much.
He always delivers. And to answer Stephen McKenzie's question, NSCC is Nashville State Community College. They don't have a football team. That's just where my wife works, and I thought I would rep that school today instead of wearing my EKU hat because coach is on. I didn't want to seem like a homer.
Yeah, Steve, I said, listen, I'm going to turn the lights on blue behind me because we got Villanova's head coach coming on, and Coach Jackson said, yeah, that's wearing my blue cap, and I'm like, that ain't blue. I hate to tell you, that ain't blue. But it ain't EKU colors either, and it's not a big an FPS. All right.
It's as blue as that little juice you mix your Kentucky bourbon with.
All right. Moving on. By the way, we had a little Christmas party going on Monday night, so I couldn't be here. And man, I won a bottle of a small batch bourbon. I'm looking forward to getting into it. I don't recall the name, but it's a nice bottle, so I'm very fired up about it. Let's get into the show, talk some FCS football. Chat, please like and subscribe. We're over at 220 subscribers. Unbelievable. Thank you guys so much for just being the third, fourth person of the show. I mean, you guys are such a huge part of the show. I really, really love it. So... but let's get into it. A couple of weird news stories just around coaching. Idaho is going to bring in a new offensive coordinator. It's Ian Shoemaker. If the name sounds familiar, he's been around FBS programs and FCS programs. He's coming from Grand Valley State, where he served as the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach. He led the Lakers to an 18-5 record over 2 seasons while he was there. So it looks like some offensive changes coming to Idaho. And that new coaching staff there, mixing it up, and that's okay, right? You're still trying to find what works there, Coach Jackson, there for Idaho after Coach Eck leaves.
Yeah, well, I mean, the coaching carousel is it's beginning to turn, and it's turning at a pretty good pace. There's been several guys to take new spots and several guys to move on. I saw where Coach Englehart has landed over at West Georgia. I see where Coach Taylor's gone from West Georgia over to Mercer.
Yeah.
But back to what you're saying. I mean, it's just that time of year.
Yeah, we're going to go through some of those. Weber State has hired a head coach, Eric Kajar, Kjar. He's a Corner Canyon High School head coach. Been very successful at the high school level. He is being replacing Mickey Mental there at Weber State, a school that's just been on a roller coaster over the last couple of years. They needed a change, and they're bringing in Eric Kajar to bring in some different leadership there at Weber State. Portland State has hired Chris Fisk, the formerly head coach at Central Washington. Trent Boykin is out at Hampton. Van Malone, Kansas State defensive back and assistant coach, is coming in to coach Hampton. Van Malone, very interesting story. Look forward to getting to know Van Malone because I grew up in the Hampton Roads area, so I'm very excited to see what they can do there. Coach, this is the one that kind of got me a little bit. Rick Santos resigns from New Hampshire to take the head coaching job at Penn. What's going on there? What do you think about that?
I don't know. To me, it's a lateral move at best.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's it is kind of a little bit of a weird decision, but nonetheless, he's gotten the job done at New Hampshire. Maybe he thinks it's a bigger challenge at Penn, for all I know.
I imagine there's probably some bigger numbers, maybe. Yeah. With the CAA it seems like I've seen a couple interviews with the CAA, the director and commissioner, and it seems like he's a smart guy, but that conference is, I don't know, man. Something's happened over there. Obviously, Villanova's. William and Mary, they're bouncing, so we'll see what happens there. Maybe just
here's what I like. Here's what I like about some of the coaching changes that you've seen. This is one year. It seems to me like there are more FCS guys getting opportunities at the FBS level.
Right.
There's more, and then the FCS guys are just promoting kind of within. So I like the way it's trending with coaches right now. But you're gonna have you're gonna have a lot of new faces in places in 2026.
Well, and as to your point it was Brendan Marion, just 1 year at Sac State. He goes to Colorado as the offensive coordinator. Alonzo Carter has been hired. He's the Arizona running back coach as well as assistant head coach there at Arizona. So he's going to be your new Sac State head coach. But talking about a transition of a team coming out of the Big Sky, independent. They want to go FBS. They've got the money, but nobody really wants them. It's an interesting dynamic for Coach Carter to come in and take over that squad. So any thoughts on Alonzo Carter heading to Sac State?
He's got a lot to get done, but they really don't even have much of a schedule for 2026 right now, and playing as an independent. So I wish him well. If he does get it done, he'll be one of the hottest coaches in the country.
Yeah, another former NFL player hired there into the ranks. Mercer is moving on from Mike Jacobs as he accepts the head coaching position at Toledo. Did not see that coming, Coach Jackson. Honestly, didn't see it coming. Yeah. They pull the string, and Joel Taylor slides back over to Mercer and is now leaving that spot open for West Georgia, and it is John Englehart who will be their head coach there. But Joel Taylor to Mercer, I think, could be a dangerous fit over there for Mercer.
Honestly, it's a win-win for both programs. I think Coach Taylor will do a fantastic job at Mercer. He's been there before, so he's very familiar with Macon, Georgia, and that he's a fantastic recruiter out of the Atlanta area. So, and Mercer's a team on the rise. So, if I'm grading that higher, I've got to give it an A. Now, West Georgia plucking Coach Englehart, he's the AFCA Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
So literally you're replacing a fantastic coach with another fantastic coach who's another good recruiter, who's another good guy, who's going to bring a fantastic staff along. And I think both them, but I'd have to give both hires an A, maybe an A+.
Well, Coach, you set me up beautifully because you talk about fantastic coaches, and we got one joining us here. Coach March Ferrante, the head coach at Villanova, joining us here on the FCS Checkdown. Coach, what a joy it's been to follow your team this year as the Wildcats have had a historic tear through the regular season and now the semifinals, 12-win season, 11-game win streak. You got a big game coming up this weekend. We're so happy for you. Thank you so much for taking time to join the show tonight.
I really appreciate you guys inviting us and covering FCS football. So I'm really honored and humbled to be invited on your show with you guys this evening.
Well, Coach, it's a rare level to reach the semifinals, and then you look back and you see this long win streak. I think they said you have the longest win streak in the nation at home. You earn a home game for this semifinal. Real quickly, just kind of thinking back to when the season started, it probably seems like a long time ago, but also just yesterday. What has been the biggest factor of this team maintaining a level of consistency and emotional integrity over week after week after week with a team that's, you had some nicks, but you've escaped some the injury bug. What's really been the key to your success here in 2025?
Well, I think you just mentioned a couple of them, but it goes back to when you start in January, right? When the team comes in and they go through the training in January, February, then spring practice, and then another phase in the summer, and then preseason. And the effort that these guys have been given all year long, not just once the season started, has been tremendous. The resiliency and perseverance they've been able to maintain and play with has been great as well. Because, you look at our games, we didn't start out great, as you mentioned. It was
Right.
1-2 after our first 3 games, and then our guys kind of had a meeting on their own. Some of our older guys who've been in the program for a while, and they said, this is not the standard that we have here. This is not the way we want to, be representing ourselves in this program. And they kind of put their foot down a little bit, and they've just been, like I said, persevering and giving great effort ever since. There's been half times we've been down, there's been half times we've been up, and there's been half times we've been tied. And,
Yeah.
you go in the locker room and there's never any panic. There's never any blame. There's never any arguing. It's nothing. They just go in and they keep level-headed and stay focused and come out and try to perform better in the second half than they did in the first on those ones we were behind, and try to keep their foot on the gas in the ones we were ahead and when they come out in the second half. So effort's been great. I think we have a really good locker room right now. I think they're very unselfish. I think they're good teammates. I think they root for each other and each other's success as much as they, want success on their own in certain positions and the individuals that we have. But I think it's just been a great team, and really proud of what they've been able to put on the field and accomplish as of late.
Well, you have to have a great locker room, as you found yourself trailing Tarleton State on the road last week, trailing 14-0. You come back with 26-21 quarterfinal comeback win. Did you feel like, even down 14-0, did you feel like this team had the resiliency to get back in it? And was it just a step-by-step process? And who led the comeback from last weekend?
Yeah, when you look at that, the first 6 to 8 minutes did not go according to plan. We took the opening drive and actually got first and goal at the 6. But then, Pat McQuaid, our quarterback, uncharacteristically made a poor decision on that play in first and goal, and they intercepted it in the end zone. And then one play later, our defense gave up a big explosive, so that made it 7-0. And then our next possession, we kind of had a poor blocking assignment. Our punter held the ball a little long, but he usually does do that, figuring the blocking is going to take care of the protection. And the guy snuck through. We had a block punt and set him up for that second score. So down 14-0 with about half the first quarter gone. There was no panic on the sideline, like I said, and guys just kept saying, okay, we'll get the next one. And then we came up with a nice interception by Anthony Hawkins, our safety, and gave us great field position there, and that got us on the board. And unfortunately, we had the extra point blocked. So, just another form of adversity that but I'll tell you what, on that play, that really was a big play because the ball only took one bounce and landed in one of their corners' hands. And we had 4 guys, all of whom are probably slower than their corner, who had the ball, just really show great hustle and got it down. So they didn't get the 2-point conversion, because normally a one-hop scoop by a cornerback when your extra point unit is on the field could end up in a 2-point conversion the other way.
Yeah.
But that really, the guy just kept going and plugging along. Everyone was lifting Pat up when he came off that sideline. I'm sure Coach Bowden, our offensive coordinator, had a few choice words for him, but they have a great relationship, so that was fine. And our guys just kept fighting. We ended up with a couple field goals, so we're still down 2. But when you looked at the halftime stats, which I don't get too carried away with,
Right.
we had the ball for 20 to 30 minutes. So we were moving the football. We just stalled in the red zone a little bit. And so it did give our guys confidence that we're able to move the ball, able to stop them after that big explosive in the short field. And then at halftime, like I said, the way they've been all year is how they were even in that situation. Down 2, they're like, hey, we've been a second half team. We come out and play better after the intermission. Let's go out and be the better team the second half. And Pat McQuaid was part of the guy who was doing some of the talking because, he's probably one of our more vocal leaders. We do have some really good leadership in other positions, but not the most vocal in some spots. Temi Azura-Tutu has been a long player for us, a long tenured player for us at left guard. He's one of our captains. Shane Hartzell on defense is another captain, but, they're just great players and great workers in practice and so on, not the most vocal. So Pat was probably doing most of the talking. He breaks the team down in most situations. And, hey, I just told them, guys, you know what they are now. I didn't say much at halftime. All I said is, you know who they are. You know what they got. They know what you got. Now let's go out there and try to be the better team in the second half.
And I imagine that because of the culture, and you've been there a long time there at Villanova, I think hired in 1987, been through different positions, now head coach. Tap the Rock is something that is kind of the culture there at Villanova and across your athletics. I imagine you can fall back on something like that. Tap the Rock. Eventually it's going to crack, but you got to keep hitting it. Is that kind of this team's identity this year?
That is the one of the base foundational cultural things that we have. That's been with us since 2009. Father Rob Hagan, who was he was an athletic director at the time. He's now a prior provincial. He's in charge of all the Augustinians, not only just in the country, but a lot of places. And, our new Pope, Leo, happens to be a Villanova grad and an Augustinian. So Father Rob visits him pretty regularly over at the Vatican. But he came up with that. That's the stonecutter parable. And that's basically, it's about perseverance. It's about resiliency. All of us coaches talk about it. It's never going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be hills. There's going to be valleys. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. How you handle those down moments is what's going to make a huge difference along the way. And the Tap the Rock thing is something that this program has stood on for quite a while. This team, though, each team, no matter how many starters you have back from one year to the next, you're always going to have some new players. But even if you had 22 starters back from one year to the next, it's not going to be the same. So each team has to really create their own additional identity, if you will. Tap the Rock is one of our foundational things. AED, attitude, effort, and details being the little things, is another one of our mantras. Play for each other, play for everyone who came before us. That's another one. So those are kind of things that every new member of our program, whether they're a transfer, whether they're incoming freshmen from high school, they learn those right away. This team, after the 1 and 2 start, then created this year's team's identity. And basically, Hartzell, Richie Kimmel, some of our older guys, had a meeting on their own. Then they came to a team meeting while we were all there before our 4th game after the 1 and 2 start. And they said, guys, we are not living up to our standard. We are not playing the way we're capable of playing. This is not who we are. We have to protect the V. We have to protect the brand. So now from that point forward, protect the brand is what they stand on, along with all the other things we just talked about. And that's what they came up with. I mean, we have T-shirts made with PTB on it. They break down on PTB. They come out of the tunnel with PTB. That's kind of the identity above and beyond the cultural things that we have in place that this team hangs their hat on right now.
I imagine, Coach, when you have someone like Shane Hartzell, and by the way, it's 14-0, and I've got the game on, but I'm also wrapping presents, and I hear the name Shane Hartzell continuously through the game. He just continues to make plays. But to have a team-led leadership, I imagine that makes for a much better experience as a head coach to have those seniors and those leaders making decisions like that and developing that culture.
100%. I mean, I tell the guys all the time, we have to be a player-led team. You have to start out by holding yourself accountable, but then you have to hold your others accountable, each other accountable. It can't be us. We can't be, the disciplinarians. We can't be the motivators. We can't be the ones. I mean, we give them what we feel we need to give them, obviously, from a motivation and a teaching and a communication standpoint. But when things start making it to my office, you don't have it. You don't have it in the locker room, the drama, the little things that, creep up from time to time. If I start getting too much of that coming through over my desk, then we don't have what we're looking for. I've had very little interruptions this year.
That's fantastic.
And that's probably why we've had the success we've been having, because these guys are holding each other accountable.
And I imagine also that Shane Hartzell, finalist for the Buck Buchanan Award, clearly the heartbeat of that defense. What does he mean to the younger players that he gets that get a chance to watch him and see how he manages business?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a guy that you can count on. He's a guy you never worry about. This is, I think, pretty sure the third year he's led our team in tackles, 3 consecutive years. If you ask Shane, he'll credit our current linebacker coach, Forrest Ryan, who was an All-American linebacker for us. So when Shane was younger, he watched Forrest. Now, Forrest is the guy coaching the position, and Shane and Richie Kimmel have been under Forrest's wing, if you will, as players, and teammates, and now he's their coach. So, he learned from Forrest. Now everyone, as you mentioned, is learning from him. And when I say what are they learning, they're learning how to practice hard. They're learning how to come in and watch film on their own. When Forrest was a player for us, I would say he probably watched more film than half our staff. I mean, that's how much film he would come in and watch on his own, and that's what made him a really good player. He actually was on the practice squad and activated for one season with the Colts after he graduated. But Shane's very instinctual. He's very he doesn't talk a lot. He's not real loud, but when he does speak, obviously they pay attention because it is somewhat infrequent. So when he does take the time to open up, they'll listen. But it helps our younger guys tremendously, not only to have Shane and emulate his style of practice and all those things, but also now to have Forrest in the room as well, coaching that position. So it's been fun to watch.
Coach, we're going to talk a little bit about this Illinois State team that you're going to be facing, and we've got those leaders in place. And I want to mention Jabril Mace. What a job he has done. He breaks Brian Westbrook's record. What is it like having that young man on your team, and how does it affect the way you approach a game, knowing you got that weapon on special teams?
Well, if you talk about Jabril and look at the beginning of the season and then where he is today, that's another example of tapping the rock. He was our third running back on the depth chart when we started the season. And in the game, he broke Brian Westbrook's record. He was still third on the depth chart. David Abbott was our starter. Then Isaiah Ragland was really the number 2 guy, and Jabril was third. But Jabril's work ethic, he came to practice and comes to practice every day as if he is a starter. We do rotate all 3, but he probably had the least amount of carries prior to that Towson game. David went out in the first quarter. Ragland followed shortly after that. So now we're down to Jabril Mace. In the game he broke Brian's record, he probably didn't have any carries in the first quarter, or almost till the first quarter was over. And he broke that record in about 3 quarters of play. So again, just the resiliency that he has shown, the unselfishness that he has shown in all the time he's been with us. His freshman year, it was him and Ragland. David wasn't here yet. So he was the second guy on the depth chart, and him and Ragland split time. And then David Abbott showed up last year and became the CA Rookie of the Year. So now we have the 3-headed monster, if you will. And then Jabril never complains, never has bad body language, always just keeps, like we talked about, tapping the rock, if you will. And his opportunity presented itself in that Towson game, and he hasn't looked back ever since. I think he's top, I don't even know where it is, but he's top 1 or 2 in kickoff returns in the country. So He's also added that dimension, to his game as far as being a great kickoff returner. And people asked me after that Towson game, are you shocked that he was able to break Brian Westbrook's record? I think it was 287 in one game for Westbrook. I think Jabril went 291. And like I said, less than 4 quarters of play. And it didn't shock me because I see him every day for the last 3 years, and his work ethic and his unselfishness and his being a great teammate and team come first mentality you know when he worked that hard and he's being a good person, a good teammate, when he gets the opportunity, good things are going to happen. And obviously, no, he's a guy now who's just added a great dimension to our offense with the speed. And David's been out now for the last few weeks, but it looks like we're going to have him back. So we're back to the three-headed monster instead of just Ragland and Mace toting all the carries.
That's great. Well, let's go ahead and lock in on this game this weekend, Coach. Illinois State's offense put up 42 points on the road. This is a very, very prolific run game. They also have a wide receiver. Sopkowitz is a very, very talented athlete. What do you see when you look at Illinois State?
Well, everything you just said. You see a team that obviously is very well coached. You see a team that plays hard and gives the great effort, just like I mentioned that our team has been doing. You see a quarterback and a wideout who seem to connect with each other very well. They've played together for a long time, unlike our guys who have connected well but only been with each other for 1 year. Our Princeton transfer and Luke Callell, and then Pat McQuaid, our Nicholls State transfer. Their defense is big. They're big up front. You got to win the line. You got to win the line of scrimmage, and that looks like that's going to be a challenge as well. They rally to the football. They look to be good fundamental tacklers. All the stuff that we try to incorporate and instill in our team and our program, and we have them to thank for the home game. I mean, they really have been the road warriors. They've done a great job beating the teams that have been presented to them, and I tip my hat to them. I'm very impressed with everything I see on film, and the fact that, when you saw the brackets come out and we're a 12 seed, other than getting that first round home game, we did not anticipate playing back at home again. And next thing you know, we get an opportunity to play a home game because of what this team has done and has put on film. And obviously when you look at it on paper, which I generally don't do because you don't play the game on paper, I think we're pretty evenly matched. I think as far as points per game and points given up and yardage and all the things that really the only things that matter are points for, points against, and
right.
Tie in the turnovers, and we're in good shape. And that third one usually has something to do with the first two, So, that's what we focus on and look at. But a couple people ask me, who do they remind you of? And I keep trying to come up because we don't have any familiarity with them. We know the league they play in, so we know they play very, very competitive, probably the best league. Not probably. They play in the best FCS league in the country. I mean, the Dakotas have kind of shown that with their dominance of these championships over recent years. And we like to think our conferences gets us battle tested for these moments as well. And then a game against Penn State, and they have a game against Oklahoma. So we both have tried that big stage as well. And, again, just to prepare yourself for these moments, playing in those big games. So they compare. The comparison I gave someone earlier in the week is I compare them to us. It's like I'm looking in the mirror other than the different color uniform, because I think they play really well and they're balanced in run and pass. Their defense rallies to the football. They've been protective of the football. They don't turn the ball over much, nor do we. So that's kind of what I came up with, because we had never played North Dakota State or anybody there, and I can't compare them to anybody else in our league that we played this year other than, what we show on film.
Well, I guess I'm have to share the stage with Coach Jackson here. I know he wants to ask you a question. We got some folks in our chat also that have some questions for you. But Coach Jackson, how about you jump in?
Well, yeah, I only got one. Well, really, I got two coaches because I want to know where Coach Ferrante is actually from. We were talking off air to kind of figure out. I told him I thought you was from Pennsylvania, but I have no idea. But I want to tell you that I'm a big fan of you and your program, and I think y'all have done a fantastic job over the years. And I think the teams take on the personality of their coaches, and y'all have done that, because all year I've told anybody that would listen that I think y'all do everything really good. I think you're great on defense. I think you're great on offense. I think you do great on special teams. It's no wonder that you've won 23 ball games in a row. So I want to get back to the home field. What makes it so tough to play y'all at your home stadium? And if you don't mind, share with me a couple of keys that you think are going to come into play for, to have another home win this coming up weekend.
And if you can't tell, Coach Jackson's from Canada, by the way.
Well, let's start there then. I'm close to Canada. I'm from Syracuse, New York.
Nice.
And
I told you, Amy, Nate. I told you. I said I said Pennsylvania or New York.
He did say
I knew it.
upstate. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was a D3 guy, so I played at St. Lawrence University for Coach Talley, who was the head coach here for 33 years.
Yeah.
And St. Lawrence University is about 7 miles from the Canadian border.
No kidding. Well, have you ever heard of boiled custard at Christmas time?
No.
Okay,
Boiled
that's a
custard.
conversation for another day. That apparently it's an
Okay.
eggnog thing in Tennessee or
Okay.
something. But anyway, what Coach
Got it.
Jackson's question was about
Got it.
how difficult
got
you are there. Yeah. Okay. We'll get
Yeah.
back on track, Coach. That's part of our
Yep,
show.
I got it. I wish I had the answer for you, Coach, about what it is. What's the secret sauce, if you will, for when we play at home? I know our guys like playing at home. I think most programs probably do. If I knew the answer to why we played that way at home, I would try to bottle it and take it on the road with us. So it's hard to say. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with our program. Obviously, you cover FCS and you know a lot about us just by some of the things you've already said and the questions you've asked. But and I'm watching our old rival on TV right now. Delaware's playing right now in their first ever FBS bowl game. But Delaware's always been a huge rival for us, and we always played them last game of the year once it was an established CA rivalry, and our guys in their mind would say, we're not losing to Delaware. I think once they establishes a rivalry where we had a little trophy we played along for that rivalry game, out of the 19 times we played for that trophy, we won it 17 times.
Oh,
And so our guys started out with, we don't lose to Delaware. And then Hartzell, speaking of Shane, he actually said this to me last year, going into the Delaware game. We don't lose to Delaware and we don't lose at home. That was his mindset, and that was a conversation. What I said to him immediately following that is, why don't we just stop that and just say we don't lose, period? Why don't we just end it there and try to have that mindset every week, But that's kind of some of their belief, we're just going to defend the turf. We're going to, again, the big V's in the midfield, we're going to protect the V. And they talk about it and they kind of believe in it, And another thing Father Rob says all the time is see what you believe and become what you see. And they think about and they talk about those things. It started with, we're not losing to Delaware. I even said to some of our former players, Connor Watkins, our quarterback, 3-year starter, a real good player for us who graduated last year. I said, I want to take what you guys bring to this Delaware game, bottle it up, and take it to every other game of this season. And he's like, Coach, you can't. It's just not the same. It's just different. It's a different feel. And I think our guys have started to develop that feel in the home stadium. If I had the answer to that one, I'd probably retire and go around to all the coaches in the country and say, here's what you need to do and here's what you need to do. But no one has that secret sauce. You know that, Coach. And
congratulations. 23 straight's quite an accomplishment. I mean, that's impressive. And y'all are an impressive team. You're an impressive program. So congratulations. If you would, tell me, maybe give me a couple of keys to what you think will lead you to victory this weekend.
Yeah, what I talk to the team about all the time, almost regardless of who we're playing, is let's be the more physical team. Let's try to be the more physical team out there throughout the game. Let's be the more disciplined team. Let's not hurt ourselves. Let's not have those what I call the mental mistakes or mental penalties. Let's not have the pre and post snap, problems. Let's not false start. Let's not jump off sides on the other side. Let's not, have a personal foul after the whistle. There's going to be penalties, there's going to be a hold, there's going to be an interference. But as long as they're the aggressive style while the play's going on, you can live with those. Let's not have the mental stuff. Let's not have the breakdowns, because we almost gave Tarleton, I think, 40 to 45 yards on that last drive where they got down to our 11 and had an opportunity with a go-ahead touchdown on penalties. and we can't do that because we don't want to get behind the sticks on offense. We don't want to give them 1st and 5 or first down. Tarleton got 6 first downs last week on penalties. We're giving too much free real estate. So we don't want to have the mental penalties, right? And then we want to be the more disciplined team. And then turnovers. We always talk about turnovers. Protect the ball. I think we lead the country in fewest number of turnovers. We've only had 6, counting that one last week, all year. So protect the brand, protect the V, but protect the ball. And, turnovers are a big thing. And I think when you play a team like this, and obviously in a game like this, I think it's going to come down because both teams are good teams and both teams are going to have good plays. I think it comes down to who's going to make the fewest mistakes.
Coach, we have a live chat going. Some folks jumping in here, and I just put in a chat. Someone from Montana checking this out. And is there any pressure because you're the only last East Coast team? We hear it all season long that west of the Mississippi, it's just different football. Now you got Villanova in there. Of course, in 2009, I think Villanova beat Montana for that championship. But that was several years ago. Is there any pressure for you to say, you know what, CAA, Southern Conference, this side of the United States, we can compete at the FCS level? Because what we do here is it gets boring that North Dakota State and Montana State are always in the national championship or whatever. Now, that ain't the case. And I'm sure everyone was high-fiving except for North Dakota State when they lost because the door is now open. Do you feel any pressure to represent those other teams on this side of the country?
No. We don't really talk too much about that. I mean, we're just happy and fortunate and honored and humbled that we're here.
Good.
And when you look at our league, the CA flying under the flag of the CA right now, I mean, Delaware's won a national championship. JMU's won a couple when they were in the league. Richmond won. We won. So we think the brand of ball that we play within our league. Now, none of those schools are going to be in the CA after this year.
Right.
So that makes the conference a little different moving forward. But, we've been there. We've all done that. Yes, right now it seems like the Dakotas have the, I guess, dominance, if you will, of our brand of football, of our level of football. The Montanas, they're like us a little bit. Like you said, we played in 2009. That was the game that we had against Coach Houck out there with the Montana Grizzlies, and now they're playing their huge game. A lot of people, I don't look at a lot of the stuff that's said. But you can't unsee it because It's there and it's all over the phones and the social media and all that. So, we're just going to fly under the radar and play a team that their Cinderella story is better than ours. They started unranked and they haven't had a home game. And now we're getting an opportunity to play a second home game. And, the people out there are saying the true FCS championships being played out west this weekend as opposed to down in January. So that's all good. We're just here trying to represent Villanova and represent our program and represent the CAA. And if we happen to be the furthest eastern school, we'll represent the whole East Coast if we have to. But, the bottom line is we try to block out the noise, block out the distractions, focus on how we're playing. A lot of times I talk to the guys about how we're playing versus who we're playing.
Right.
Because they're still only going to have 11 guys out there, and we got to figure out the configuration of how they're lining up. But we got to block them, we got to tackle them, and we got to, play the way we want to play. So we focus on how we're playing even more so than who we're playing. But it's good to still be in it. So if people want to say we're representing the CA, obviously we are doing that. And if people are saying we're representing the Northeast or the whole Eastern Seaboard, so be it. We'll take that as well.
Coach, your SID was very gracious in replying to my email and getting you on the show. And I told him I was going to keep you like 15 minutes. You've gone way over that. I'm just going to have one more question. The chat's asking about your post-game interview. You got a little bit emotional. What was going through you during the post-game interview that just kind of got you a little bit?
Well, I'm kind of an emotional guy anyway. And as you've already stated, I've been here a long time and we have had the opportunity to, have this run one time, and this is the fourth time we've been in the semis, only the second time we've been able to play home. I mean, I just get proud of the guys, when you get down 14-0 and they show the resilience and the team chemistry that they have and the love for each other. That gets to you, and believe me, it's happy tears. It's happy tears that we came out on top and won that game, and just fortunate that we're able to come out of that game with a victory and have the opportunity to be together with this unit for another week of practice and another game, and it just gets to you. It pulls at you a little bit. So, been here a long time, been with these guys a long time. They do everything we ask. They do it the right way. So I'm happy for the success that this group of guys is able to have, because it's something they'll remember for the rest of their life.
Well, the chat is giving you coaching advice. They say pressure Rittenhouse. He's got happy feet and you'll be fine. Listen, Coach, what a joy it is to talk to you. What a great experience it is to kind of pick your brain a little bit and just to follow this program and learn about the Villanova football program, because in preparation, you do get to learn some things about the program you didn't know about. This is why we love FCS football, is because I feel like it's the truest form of just the love of the game. And you are an ambassador for that, and we just thank you so much for taking the time. We really do wish you all the best this weekend, and we'll be watching and rooting for that East Coast to show those West Coast guys who's boss.
I appreciate it. Thanks again for everything you guys do for FCS football, and thanks for having me on this evening. That is Coach Ferrante, the Villanova's head coach. Coach, best of luck. Thank you again for joining us. What a joy talking to head coach Mark Ferrante, Villanova's head coach. And you know what?
Yeah.
What's so interesting, Coach, is we've had different coaches on. Everyone's got a little bit of a different personality. His personality is different than Keith Patterson's personality is different than Kobe Carthel's. I almost said Toby Keith. Kobe Carthel, different than Englehart. They all do it differently. And he's finding that recipe that works.
Hey, that guy there, I'm telling you, he is the epitome of a leader and a leader of a program. He's got that place running just like he wants it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't panic because he don't panic.
Yeah.
And that's the way they play. Whether they down 21 or 14 or however, they always come to play because he always comes to play.
Yeah.
They're one of the more prepared teams. Again, I've been saying it all year. They do everything good. They're good on special teams. So listen, I wish him the best luck. He is to me, he is one of the top 3, 4, 5 coaches in the country. And I wish that I'd said a little bit more about his 23-game home streak. That's not the best in FCS. That's the best in football
country. Yeah, I didn't give you a whole lot of time, to be honest with you. I was in la land. I love talking to these coaches and just kind of going at a different angle and pulling some stuff out of them. But Chad had some good questions. I didn't get to all of them because I really told them I'd keep them to 15 minutes. And he went almost 30 minutes with us. So much appreciation. Let's jump back into this, Coach. You mentioned long-term tenured head coach. Kevin Callahan is stepping down. He's transitioning to a special advisor role. They've brought Jeff Gallo in to be the head coach. He was Monmouth's associate head coach a season ago. Kevin Callahan, CAA, a coach that is legendary and well-respected. And, we'll have to get used to a new head coach over there in Monmouth, and for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, sure is. And again, congratulations to him. I know he's stepping down and taking another position or whatever. But what's it been? 33, 34, 35 years?
A long time, yeah.
Dude, literally, he is. He has done his work. Let somebody else pick up that wagon and move it forward.
Chris Reisert from Gardner-Webb is taking a position at Toledo. as the offensive coordinator. He's joining Mike Jacobs, so they will be together there at Toledo, and so they're under a new search now for Gardner Webb's head coach. Chris Reiser did a fantastic job in the 2 years he was there. We had him on the show. Again, another different kind of coach, does it his way. Best of luck to him. And Gardner Webb's now looking for a new head coach. Howard is departing ways with Larry Scott. That was announced just a couple days ago. He's stepping down to accept the position as Auburn's tight end coach. As you mentioned, jump into the FBS, probably more money, a little bit more exposure. But Howard will be looking for a head coach. I know you have some connections to that school. Any thoughts on that change?
Well, I mean, it's good for him, and it'll be a good opportunity for the next person that shows up. He's not leaving the cupboard bare by any stretch of the imagination. So, good for him. It's a good move for him. If you offer me a little bit more money, I'm out of here, dude. Let the next
No loyalty, none. Give me the cash. Love it. Right. And Danny Rocco, great name. VMI's head coach, not a lot of success. Yeah. Well, Virginia Tech has brought him on up to the next level at the FBS level. Going to be coaching with James Franklin there at Virginia Tech. So that you're up to date on the coaching changes. Let's get into some of those games that we should have recapped on Sunday night or Monday or whatever. But you were having dinner with family. I was off gallivanting around and then Christmas parties and all kind of stuff. And then Brandon and I calling the football game. So let's start with the Celebration Bowl. It was one of the wildest games the Celebration Bowl has ever seen. The MEAC champion South Carolina State erased a 21-point halftime deficit. They put up 21 points in the third quarter, eventually forcing an overtime. The Bulldogs kicked a game-winning field goal, a 40-yard field goal in the fourth overtime period to defeat the SWAC champion Prairie View A&M. I got to be honest, I picked South Carolina State because I said they show up, but man, I was kind of rooting for Prairie View to win that one, Coach. What a Celebration Bowl, and great ratings across the board in the FCS. I saw someone mention that in the chat. By the way, apparently you've entered the portals. What the transfer portal? We'll see where you land. Great Celebration Bowl, great fan interaction there in attendance and television audience, big time numbers there for the Celebration Bowl, and a great football game.
Yeah, that way I understand is that 24,000 people at the actual game, which, don't get me wrong, Prairie View really doesn't travel that well, and they brought a bunch of folks to the ball game. And I think 2.2 million viewers or something like that, and a great game. And listen, I don't want to start no trouble or anything like that, but I don't care. I picked South Carolina State too. I was rooting for Prairie View. The touchdown that put South Carolina State ahead, I don't agree with. I don't think it's a touchdown. And honestly, I saw some a little bit of ridicule on the 2-point on the play that Prairie View calls at the end of the game. Listen, if they don't get there with pressure, Prairie View's got two kids running wide open in the end zone to put that game away. And Prairie View had a chance to win and just simply missed a field goal. So it's Prairie View's back on the map as far as HBCU football, and everybody else better catch up.
One of the great stories of that game, Coach, was Ryan Stubblefield. He was the starting quarterback to start the year. Didn't particularly perform well, saw some time, but he was not their starting quarterback. William Atkins IV went down with an injury. He was their starting quarterback. Stubblefield steps in. He's a grad transfer from UIW. Entered the game, sparked the offense, gets up that 21-point furious rally by South Carolina State, and ends up winning the offensive MVP. Those are great stories when those backup quarterbacks come in, lead a team, lead a charge, and then win an MVP. So congratulations to him. 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown for Ryan Stubblefield, probably his last football game he'll ever play, and he goes out with his head held high.
Yeah, good for him. Great game, great win. I mean, it was literally an instant classic. And tell McKenzie, for me to go in the transfer portal, it's going to take some NIL money.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be that bowl custard sponsorship.
Southern Living. You're gonna have to move the decimal point to the right at least one or two places.
Love it. Love it. You can move it to the left for me. I'll take anything. Let's go ahead and get to the quarterfinal matchups, and then we're going to jump into our game picks for this week. Gotcha. Montana State 44-28 over SFA. The Bobcats used a punishing ground game to snap SFA's 8-game win streak at home. Win streak overall. They were on the road. Montana State rushed for a season-high 227 yards, controlled the clock, while Lumberjacks cut the deficit 10 points in the third quarter. They could not stop that Bobcat offense. Adam Jones had 114 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Justin Lamson, 2 passing touchdowns, also 1 rushing touchdowns, and Adam Jones had a 16-yard touchdown run early in the fourth, effectively putting the game away. So big win for Montana State, advancing them. Did you get a chance to see the game? I thought that it looked like Montana State really controlled that game. They allowed Stephen F. Austin to get close, which is always dangerous, but they kind of had control of that football game.
Well, contrary to popular belief, the SFA defense didn't play that bad. Offense kind of let them down at the beginning of the game. So as defense is keeping it close, offense is just making too many mistakes. But listen, what a great run for SFA. The kids don't have nothing to hang their heads on. They just run into a buzzsaw. Montana State's the real deal. They just ran into a buzzsaw like Adam Jones is a good football player. They got a bunch of good football players at Montana State. I thought the Stephen F. Austin defensive line played admirably. And they literally just run out of gas. And look, even when they got down 2 or 3 touchdowns, they had a little bit of a comeback. They just wasn't enough left in the tank for them. But fantastic season for them.
Villanova traveled out to Stephenville, Texas, and Tarleton State. 26-21 is the final score. Don't know really we need to recap this one, but it was a great upset by Villanova, down 14-0 early. It came within 2 points, 14-12 at the half. The Wildcats defense clamped down the second half, only allowing 1 score, while the offense used a little bit of trickery. Wide receiver Brandon Reed was a receiver of a catch and a touchdown in the end zone. He also threw a touchdown pass as well. Jabril Mace had 151 yards rushing and a touchdown. Villanova defense sacked Gabales 4 times, and I think that was a big effort by them to keep him on his toes. With 12:49 left, Pat McQuaid hit Braden Reed for the go-ahead 11-yard touchdown, capping a comeback that silenced the Stephenville crowd. Tarleton had a 14-play drive late in the fourth that Coach Ferrante mentioned that stalled at the Nova 11-yard line with under 2 minutes to go as DeMille Bostic broke up the final play and turned the ball over on down. So congratulations to them. South Dakota versus Montana, 52-22 was the final score there. The Grizzlies dominated the Coyotes there in Missoula, putting up 50 points to set a massive semifinal rematch against Montana State. Everyone's looking forward to the Brawl of the Wild. Montana's offense was explosive, racking up big plays through the air. Michael Wortham, Montana, had an electric performance, 244 all-purpose yards, 3 total touchdowns, 2 receiving, 1 rushing. And Kelly Ayotte, 305 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Drew Deck's FCS playoff record 93-yard punt return for a touchdown on the third blew the game wide open. This sets up the Brawl of the Wild. I don't want to say too much here, but Montana really, really looked great.
Yeah, I thought they did too, and they looked good the entire year. Ayotte is on fire. Their special teams look good. Defense looks good. That's going to be one heck of a game this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had Illinois State going across the country. Tough draw to go out there to UC Davis. You and I both picked it. We didn't think it was going to be an upset, and we didn't think there was an underdog going out there. 42-31 was the final score. Unseeded Illinois State continues their Cinderella run, like Coach Ferrante said, knocking off another seed in a game defined by explosive plays. Daniel Sopkowitz had 150 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Seth Glatz for ISU, 2 rushing touchdowns, and the big play, that stunning 93-yard touchdown pass from Tommy Rittenhouse to Sopkowitz in the first quarter set the tone for that game. All right, well, let's jump right here, Coach Jackson. It is the Illinois State game versus Villanova. Illinois State 11-4, 12-2 for Villanova. It's a 7:30 kickoff on ESPN2. Let's see what chat's talking about here. Something that it's really amazing that Illinois State has done on the road. Yeah, Steve McKenzie talking about how they've been road warriors. Well, they're going to have to be road warriors once again because they're doing $2 beer and hot dogs at Villanova this weekend, Coach. You got to, up it in front of that Wildcat faithful. Right. So it's going to be a fantastic, unbelievable effort. Villanova's fourth semifinal appearance, 11 straight wins, second longest streak in the nation in school history, the longest streak in the nation at home, as you talked about. The Wildcats have been a model of consistency on offense. Where the Redbirds, they've had a storied season. It's my dog's barking at the Christmas tree, probably. Pat McQuaid, the quarterback, has been fantastic for Villanova. Jabril Mace, the running back, not only in the run game, but the return game. And Shane Hartzell. Coach, I think this game might teeter on how good Shane Hartzell is. He has been the heart of that defense. Then you look at Illinois State, Tommy Rittenhouse and Daniel Sopkowitz and Victor Dawson, the running back there, and Rinkers Wright, who I think it might not play. I'm not sure, but this one's going to be interesting, Coach Jackson. And Coach Ferrante said, we got to be more physical. We got to be more disciplined. None of that mental stuff. No turnovers. No bad penalties. Coach, they have not been good with penalties. They're averaging almost 7 penalties per game. They've got to clean that up. You can't give Illinois State a first down on a penalty and expect to win this game. What are you thinking?
Well, the thing that you notice about Illinois State first is they're huge. Coach Ferrante is correct. On the offensive and defensive line, those are men, and they come off the ball. They block really well. I think Villanova's got a little more speed than what they have. It's a home game for Villanova. I like Illinois State. I think it's actually going to come down to how Rittenhouse plays.
Yeah. Okay.
And honestly, the last couple of games, he's got that riverboat gambler type mentality, which I don't know is going to fare very well at Villanova. So are we picking them right now?
Go for it. Yeah, we're picking them.
Listen, it is tough. I think Coach Ferrante puts together one of the best teams in the program in the country. I think they're very consistent. I think that they'll be very consistent. If Rittenhouse tries to take over, I think he throws 3 interceptions. And if that happens, Villanova wins. It is going to be a classic. I think Villanova wins 27-24.
Wow. I thought we were going to disagree.
And I think they end up holding Illinois State out from maybe the 10-yard line or something like that. I think it comes down to a stop on defense that wins the game for Villanova.
Well, the chat looks like it's funny. We got the folks from Montana saying that Villanova is going to win. They probably know a little something about this Illinois State team. They go on the road in the Fargo Dome and pick up a win. Coach, it's really tough to pick against them. We said it was not going to be. They weren't the underdogs really last week against UC Davis, traveling all the way out there. We really liked what Illinois State. I thought the matchup was good and favorable for them against UC Davis. I'm not so sure about this. I like what Coach Ferrante said. Remember, he said we're looking in a mirror. Well,
that's exactly right.
You're at home.
Right.
That's a safe place to be. Illinois State has given up some points.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Villanova. I think Villanova's going to win this game. I think you're right. I think Rittenhouse can be rattled. He's playing very well. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Looks like it says the weather is high 39. All right, that's okay.
The weather's not going to bother Illinois State.
No.
That weather around where they is trash anyway. They ain't going. That's not going to bother them.
Yeah, so Villanova by 3 is Steve Hotchkiss. I think you're right. I think it's going to be like a 38-35 kind of ball game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think you're going to have some turnovers. You're probably going to have a special teams play. But I think Villanova's going to win this football game. I'm trying not to be emotional because Coach Ferrante was on the show. Yeah. But I really do believe Villanova has just got the culture. Coach Ferrante kind of spent some time talking about. Villanova. Yeah, Slim Drip X says Villanova feels right, but the Birds and Andy team and the Timu Andy Reid keeps getting it done. All right, so Slim Drip X says go with the Redbirds. I'm going to go with Villanova. Looks like chat is going to go with Illinois State from what I can tell. So you and I both with Nova.
Yeah,
chat with Illinois State.
Even in that Cinderella story, that slipper had to fall off at some point in time, and that's kind of where I think it happens for Illinois State too.
Yeah, and Coach Ferrante mentioned how similar the stats are. Both teams score 30.6 points per game. Points allowed, Villanova 20.3, Illinois State 25.9. Rush yards, both around 180. Pass yards, both around 215. The turnover margin, Coach.
Yeah.
Villanova, elite, plus 11.
Yeah.
Turnovers lost, only 6 all year. That's best in the FCS. That's where you're going to pick up a win. Okay. You still got some stuff coming in, and I still like the Timu Andy Reid. Freaking love it. Freaking love it. All right. Nova's quarterback might be a problem. He's a bit inconsistent. I agree. I'm not gonna shy away from that. I agree, but I like the culture. I like what they did coming back. That's a gutsy performance, a resilient performance. All right, next game.
If Nova's quarterback is a little bit inconsistent, they'll do something else. Okay, if Rittenhouse becomes shook, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, okay, I like it. Brawl the Wild 2.0, the holiday edition. Montana versus Montana State, 4 p.m. on ABC. Let's see if the chat gets this one right. Coach Stephen McKenzie says chat gets this one right. Let's see. The Brawl of the Wild 2. These two teams met 4 weeks ago in the regular season, Coach Jackson. Montana State pulled off a 31-28 win. It was a thrilling football game in Missoula, clinching the Big Sky title. Now the Grizzlies have to travel to the Gold Rush environment in Bozeman, Montana, seeking revenge. Bobcats are built on that punishing run game. Montana, the Grizz, absolutely white hot coming into this game, having outscored their first two opponents 102-51 here in the playoffs. While the Bobcats win with a hammer, the Grizz may win with a scalpel. They love doing those small things right. Justin Lamson, the quarterback for Montana State, true dual threat quarterback. Julius Davis, unbelievable. Piss him off, he seems like he gets better.
Yeah.
We'll see. And of course, Caden Dowler and Taco Dowler. Yeah. Those are benchmark players for this Montana State team. Kelly Ayotte from Montana. You said it. He's on fire. Sophomore has emerged as a star. 2 playoff starts, 665 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Playing his best football of his career right now, without a doubt. Michael Wortham, the wide receiver, perhaps one of the most dangerous players in the FCS. He's a triple threat, rushing, receiving, and returning. Recently became Montana's single-season leader in all-purpose yards. And then Eli Gilman, the running back, 2023 Jerry Rice Award winner, provides necessary balance. He's going to keep those linebackers honest there for Montana State. It's a rematch. What do you guys think? It looks like in the chat, go Grizz, Montana State, Cats. Great helmet game. Yeah, get your tickets. MT Motor Stable says only $500 to $5,000 per seat. Yikes. Bobby eats corn the long way. Talk about Coach Houck there.
Wow.
Yeah. Ayotte has never played in a front of hostile environment in his life. He will be shook, says Slime Drip X. And Steve McKenzie, game should go down on last possession. Give me the Grizz in a close one. So it looks like Montana may have the edge in this one. It's pretty close, Coach Jackson. I'll tell you who I'm going with. I don't think Montana, and I said this I think their path is clear to this national championship. I think they are very consistent on offense. They are very, very difficult to pull. The defense is very, very tough. They know how to get a stop when they need to. I think Montana Grizz is going to pick up a win on the road and redeem themselves, knocking Montana State out of the playoffs. What say you?
Well, I think it's a tough trip for Montana over to Montana State. I think that place is going to be rocking. I think the weather's going to be, whatever it is. If you look along the lines of scrimmage, I think Montana's defense is a little bit bigger than Montana State's defensive line. I think the offensive line's about the same. I think they've got exciting players on both sides of the ball. I think special teams is probably going to have a little bit to say about this game. In addition to Montana's return game, their field goal kicker, fantastic. I seen him hit one from about 60 yards the other day. Now, I don't know how much the hot dogs are going to be at Montana State, but
they'll be eating the long way. Apparently, I don't know. Freaking Kobe.
I think it to me, all the pressure is on Montana State. I mean, it's tough to beat somebody twice in the same season.
You hear that? You hear coaches say it all the time.
Montana is on. They're on the road. They're not going to be playing in front of their home fans. Their home fans aren't going to be getting up and leaving with 3 minutes left to go in the ball game because Montana's up by 17 points, and that's a wrap. As much as I hate to do it, Nathan, I agree with you. Give me the Grizz. Yeah.
All right.
Give me the Grizz. And here's another thing. Give me the Grizz. What's the spread on the game?
I think it's 4 points. I think Montana State is favored by 4 points, if I'm not mistaken.
They're going to end up a home dog. Give me Montana and literally, I mean, I think they win by more than 3 points. I think they win. I think it may come down to Montana State scoring, needing to onside kick with about a minute left, and Montana recovers the onside kick, and that's a wrap. So give me the Grizz.
All right. Kobe, close win. Bobcats top. Go Cats go. High 33. No high. I thought you were saying high. No, the temperature 33. No precipitation. Home team usually wins the playoff game. Better defense usually wins in the playoffs. That's supported by data. Slime Drip X. I've asked ChatGPT who has the best advantage, Montana or Montana State, for football in their home stadium. Let's see what ChatGPT just says out of ridiculousness. When comparing home field advantage in football, though Montana and Montana State historically sticks, Montana has a stronger edge, though both teams do benefit from playing at home. So there you go. Montana draws a large, intense crowd, often ranking in the top FCS program. So say Montana has a better home field advantage. So that could mean something. ChatGPT never lies.
I'm glad to see the game on ABC at 4:00.
Yeah, me too.
Afternoon.
Me too. There's some good football this weekend.
Yeah, I want to see what the viewership is after that. But I'm fairly confident. Matter of fact, hell, I'm overconfident on the Grizz, which means they probably don't stand a chance. But
yeah,
that's where I'm going. I think Montana's just a little bit more complete team than Montana State is. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but whatever.
No, I mean we've been saying it.
There we go.
Yeah,
dude, I got that little ball spot right in there. So,
dude, let me tell you. Yeah, Davey Williams, good to see you. Returning key defensive players, Montana should be the edge. I tell you what, I don't know. At first, I thought it was Montana State. Now I'm seeing a lot of Montana in here in the chat. So we shall see. It's going to be an unbelievable game. It's going to be an unbelievable game. All right, I'm going to say, let's see, Montana State. Yeah, looks like Montana State is what the chat's going with, so we're going to put that down. But that's hilarious. We all disagree. You and I on one side, and then chat on the other. This will be. I'm drawing a line right now. This is to see how it goes. Russell Fairburn, the Super Brawl goes to Montana. Cats are going to play not to lose, and the Grizz get to let it hang out. That's actually not a bad take on it because you're looser. You're on the road, nothing to lose. You've already lost to Montana State once, but this is the first time they've ever played in the playoffs. You want to talk about a opportunity to knock the team in their season?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's got to have another name besides Brawl of the Wild if it's in the playoffs. I mean, during the regular season, if you want to call it that, whatever. But I wish Chat would come up with a better name for the game besides Brawl of the Wild too, because dude, this is not the regular season. Hell, this is for the marbles.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask ChatGPT that. Come up with a nickname for the rivalry game. Rivalry game between Montana and Montana. This is riveting. State in the FCS playoffs. Let's see what it comes up with. The Montana Super Bowl.
Dude, it's got to be better than that. Hell in a Cell or Flames on the Plains. Something like that.
Chat GP. Yeah. So, yeah, like NDSU and SDSU last year. That's right, Chris. That's right. New Age coming in with some good stuff. Yeah, Montana Super Bowl, says Davey Williams. The Brawl Star game. I like that. How about that? Slime Drip X. I like it. Steve McKenzie, the state championship. ChatGPT says Brawl of the Big Sky.
Okay.
Montana grudge match. Not hating it.
Okay.
The last best brawl. That's because last best to get someone knocked out. The treasure state takedown. Continental divide clash. The battle for the crown. Yeah. Let's see. And then a couple here. Oops. I don't have my mouse, so I'm all over the place. Brawl of the bracket. Yeah. Win or go home. Terrible. The Big Sky blood feud. Damn.
I like that.
Yeah. I like it too. Yeah, it says that the divide, the last best brawl, and the brawl for the bracket is what chat's recommending. Kobe Cluth says the reckoning. Yeah.
The reckoning, okay.
If you're the team that lost the first one, you're right. Go Cats, go. All right, so listen, it's going to be a great weekend of football. This was a fun show because getting a chance to prepare to see and talk to Coach Ferrante as he's preparing the Montana Bar Brawl. I like it. Steve Hotchkiss checking in. But it comes down to this. That's a head coach that's got a semifinal playoff that decided to join our show. What an honor. Thank you so much, Coach Ferrante and Dean, his SID, who put it all together. Really appreciate it. Chat, you guys have been awesome once again. We will see, chat. I'm putting my hands on my hips here. We will see who's getting this one right. Because if you guys get it right, me and Coach Jackson are in the mud. And if we get it right, chat's in the mud. So we'll see.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, we have a great live audience. Thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for being proactive in the chat. Davey Williams checking in. Hadn't seen you on here much, so we really do appreciate it. We also had MT Motor Stables checking in. Slime Drip X with a great the Brawl Star game. That's a classic. New Age coming in, Steve McKenzie, Steve Hotchkiss, Russell Fairburn checking in as well. And we had a couple other new folks checking in. Kobe Cluth, as always, doing a great job. Oh, Max Subco checking in. So very, very happy to have you along. And if you don't mind, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It is free to do. It doesn't cost a thing. It just lets you know when we are on, and it gives us an idea of who is watching and what parts you like and what parts you don't like and whatever. Thank you, Dave. He says a great show. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It does go a long way. We're on a path to 500, and once we get to 500, chat, we are going to do something special. Whether it's we're going to do some giveaways. Coach Jackson said he's going to the Rice family country.
Oh, yeah, dude, We can do the country ham off if that's what y'all want to do.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah. Thank you, Slime Drip X. I appreciate it. Thank you, Steve McKenzie, our moderator. Great show. Lots of fun. Another great show. Slime Drip X coming in. Thank you. You guys are making it fun. Honestly, you guys make it fun. But please like and subscribe. It's we love FCS football. We only have a few shows left. We're going to come back probably in the spring and hit some of the news and notes, and then we'll be reloading for the 2026 season. But not done yet. Not done yet. We'll have a show probably Sunday or Monday on the recap, and of course we'll have the big national championship show. It's January 5th this year, so we don't know what we'll do in between there. We'll have something. We'll figure something out. So, Coach Jackson, final thoughts, final words for you.
Man, you know what, dude, I can't wait. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes.
We're treated to some good football. We got two great semifinal games coming up that are just going to be absolutely freaking awesome. So congratulations to us for being able to see and take part in that. Congratulations to us getting up to 200 some odd fans. It's been great. I don't know what else to say. I love it.
Well, and I just realized I didn't wish Coach Fronte have a Merry Christmas or anything. So
well,
next
you better
time.
wait till after Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, we wished him all the best, and I think he kind of knows, and I hope it came across. I love his answer. Do you feel like the weight of the East? No, we don't think about it. I freaking love it.
On another show, if it wasn't so close to the ball game, I would ask him, has anybody mistook him for Bruce Pearl in the last?
He does kind of favor Bruce Pearl a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to nothing like that, but I thought, goodness gracious, he looks just like Bruce.
Yeah, not bad.
So if he paints that V on his chest and comes out there shirtless, that'd be way out of character for him. But whatever, we'll see.
And it's a Catholic school, so I didn't want to talk about hey, I'm in favor of protecting the V. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm in favor, and I noticed he changed to protect the brand. Very, very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Davey Williams. God bless you guys. Have a Merry Christmas if you don't get to check us out live, if we don't get a chance to say it. It is the Christmas season. It's my favorite time. I've got Christmas movies just playing on like a loop of 24 just to get the vibe in the house right. So very happy, very happy, very happy. All right, go ahead, Coach.
Be so far into the Christmas cheer this weekend, I cannot wait.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be great for Coach Jackson. I'm Nathan McCreary. Thank you guys in the chat for being such loyal and great commentary artists in the chat. Who's doing some great stuff. And thank you again so much for Coach Fronte for joining us. This has been the FCS Checkdown. We'll see you as we have our semifinals recap and our finals preview show coming up next week. You guys are the best. We'll hope you have a great weekend. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you soon. Have a great weekend. This has been the FCS Checkdown. See ya.